Going through this process, you'll see that there's a number of psychological triggers that I'm putting throughout this entire presence. So, warning to all business owners, entrepreneurs, and leaders. The purpose of that is a direct call out. So, the reason why I have this is why I want to get your attention, but I'm also only speaking to business owners, entrepreneurs, and leaders. And so then I'm making a bold statement. AI is here to stay, and your company's growth in 2025 depends on your next move. And so that's a bold statement specifically for the people that I call out. So when you're writing a message in direct response, you want to give a direct call out to your audience. Otherwise, that person's not going to know if it's for them or not. Now, our name is is a bold call out. AI for business is a bold call out. But if we were just AI training school, how do I know it's not a training school for students? How do I know it's not a training school for high school students or college students? How do I know it's not a trade school for plumbers? You have to give that direct call out. And so as I go on, there's a few other things that I put in this letter, and I'll break down sort of from scratch what a direct response letter should look like and how to use AI. We'll go through that here in a minute. Let's see how to scale faster and dominate your market. So I'm making a bold claim again. But the reason why we use a virtual event as our lead in is simply because of urgency. Urgency is one of the most powerful tactics that you can use from the sales psychology side because there's always a deadline. We're doing a live event and it's on this day. We only promote them about 2 weeks in advance. That means somebody has to take action quickly and make a decision. We can't extend that because after February 19th, the event's over. So the reason why I love using the virtual event model, using this as a platform and writing copy around virtual events or live events even, is because the scarcity or the urgency is always there. The urgency stays. And then I go into social proof. So here's some social proof. Well, you may have seen us on Inc. magazine. You may have seen us on A&E or HGTV or DIY Network. Our speakers have been featured in all these other places, and all this is true, but that's all social proof. Here's some things what people are saying. That's all social proof. These are all pieces of psychology triggers that we use in copywriting. So within the first half scroll, I have a direct call out. I have urgency. I have a bold social proof and bold claims of what you're going to learn. So as I break through that, I'm going through my entire letter. Every word on your page should have a meaning. Not a single word when you're writing copy should be unneeded. And as you're going through the copy, everything has to support everything. So even a long form page like this, I'm not rambling or ranting. I'm staying on task to accomplish a specific thing as we go. Now I can do this through the entire page. What I do is essentially reset after this scroll and start over. Here's my big bold claim in your business. So I'm calling out the business owner again. I'm giving a big bold claim again, big bold promise. I'm talking about again, social proof. Here's a four-time Inc. 5000 co-founders and world-leading experts, and then a call to action, very strong call to action. And I can do this again and again and again with this entire letter. And the whole thing is designed for you to have simple psychological triggers repeating and reinforcing my message, even though it's pages and pages long. And so when you look at copy, and this is really important, when you look at other pages, we're talking about these persuasive techniques. When you start looking at copywriter from a landing pages and websites, so especially if it's something you take action, I want you to start thinking from the eyes of a copywriter and a marketer. And why am I taking action on something? And I do this all the time. I'm still a hyper buyer. That means that you put a buy button from me and it's something I'm interested in, I'm buying it. Because I know that for me, where I am in my career, if I can take one small thing and apply it to my business and learn it, it's going to make a monumental difference in what I do just because of the volume that we do now. And I've always thought that for the many years, even when I wasn't producing a lot of revenue, I was still thinking what my slight edge is. But then I realized also, why am I buying something? What's the trigger for me? And the trigger is both on the copy and what happens inside that person's head as they're making these decisions. And that's a big part of how you write or how you create a video for direct response copy. So let's go and talk about the role of AI in copywriting. So now we have, before AI and I was writing copy, my first job was research. Now, during the 3-day event, if you forgot or haven't watched my session on research, I'd highly go back through that and watch that again. It's on the first day afternoon. I do about a 30-minute session on that day on research, and I'll do a little bit of that today. But I would spend hours and hours and hours, if not days and weeks, when I take on a project as a direct response copywriter. When I was a freelance copywriter, I would spend all this time researching the audience, the client that I'm working with, all of their business, looking for what's unique, what's different, and finding niche or industry information. So, starting my career, I would spend time in libraries. I would find books. I would find old articles in newspapers. Now on Google, you can go to Google News. Now AI allows you to use Perplexity, or even just what came out on ChatGPT Pro is deep research. So now you have this unlimited tool for research in your market that gives you this deep information about the products or services and the people. And so one ultimate shortcut that we have now, and it's growing and growing and growing, is the fact that we can do research on a marketplace and ask questions to AI and get sourced and vetted answers. Now, I'm going to use the tool that we have, AI for Business tool. One great tool that just came out is deep research from ChatGPT, but that's a $200 a month program. I'm going to show you what we do inside of AI for Business, where we have the research tool. And so we have the research tool for Perplexity. Now I'm going to, before your eyes, kind of write some copy or use the niche of AI for Business, but we can just start by asking simple questions. So this is using AI for research. So let's say I have a product on AI for Business. Help me find any questions that a business owner would have using AI in their business today. So all I'm doing is just doing layers of research. I'm starting somewhere. I'm figuring out a starting point. And my starting point for this is just asking the question, what are people looking for? Your job also as a marketer, as a business owner, as a copywriter, is to be as inquisitive as possible, because you're creating really what is a marketing argument. You're creating something that would be relevant in the marketplace to get somebody to take an action that they normally wouldn't without the information that you're presenting. So that's why research is so important. That's why research is so important. So we're looking through business owners considering the implementation of AI. And so now we have these sources of research. And so it's giving us this research that's available to us and the sources as well, which is really cool. So it's scouring the web for sources on how to use AI for business.